Welcome to Design Diary, the podcast where you get to look inside my board game design notebook as well as what's going on inside my head. We look at a new word each day from the sense of mechanics, tone, theme, or inspiration for a full game. Today's word is spavined, affected with swelling, old and decrepit, over the hill. It's another word that I've never actually heard. And I think that's always better when I haven't heard the word before, because I'm coming in fresh. So here we go. I'm gonna read what I got. Actually, I need to turn the light on. You might hear my son snoring in the background and these birds chirping because it's super early. And whatever that was, motorcycle. All right, here we go. Swelling is usually a bad thing. Which old is not always a bad thing, but when it's mixed with decrepit or over the hill, it kind of is. So I went with it as a negative effect instead of a positive thing. So I wrote, swelling often feels like pressure on the sides where you're about to burst. It makes me think that a player has a limit of some sort, but that limit is flexible. So not a hard number, but instead a number with I wrote a big old decrepit asterisk next to it. So your hand size, for example, we could say you have a hand size of 5, but that's not a hard limit. You can have 6, but for each card above 5 that you take, you're going to take some sort of hit. That hit could be health, which ages you in a way, although health in most games can either be lost or gained, so it doesn't exactly equal aging, but it could if there was no way to gain health. You could also give up victory points. So let's say I have a hand size of 5 and I want to go to 8 this turn, and I gotta give up 1, 2, or 3, whatever it is, victory points. That hits the affected with swelling definition, but not so much the old and decrepit or over the hill. But I wrote there could be a game where swelling affects everything. Let's say it's a tableau builder where you can create these great engines and resources and everything, but each section has a limit. Your card engine, your hand size, and the resources that power it. Each one has a limit. If you choose to go overboard on any of them, you just take a hit for it. And to take this up a notch, we can say that you start at 20 health and you cannot gain any more. So it's aging. You cannot go up. You can only go down, and the swelling is going to force you to go down. And I wrote for the sake of avoiding player elimination, because if you're knocking people down in health, you're going to eliminate players, which can often lead to a lot of complication in gaming, particularly just people being left out. So to keep it, nice and positive for everything, I'm going to just say this is a solo game. So if you get knocked out, that's the whole entire, goal of most solo games. That's where I lean to with player elimination if I can, sometimes. So I wrote with 20 health and X amount of slots. Let's say 5 for cards, 5 for resources, or 10 for resources, or something like that. You need to manage your hand very well. You're going to get cards every turn, and you need to play cards, or else you're going to get more and you're going to overflow. So the game is sort of, pushing you in this upward direction of resources, and you just need to manage them to the best of your abilities. If an area becomes too full, there could be a neat trigger that would remove things. So, for example, and I sort of thought of this as not like a rock, paper, scissors, but like a A affects B, B affects C, C affects A, which is exactly what rock, paper, scissors is. But that kind of effect where if your hand is too full, you can play a card to the board. But if your board is too full, you can spend resources to remove. So going back, playing a card to the board reduces your hand size and prevents the swelling. If your board is too full, you can spend resources to remove cards from your board. And if your resources are too full, you can spend them to remove cards, but you can also activate cards on your engine to drop it down. So those would be ways to sort of reduce, at least to start. And since you're playing a solo game, you're playing against the game's primary goal is to boost your areas, bloat them up, make you swell, and eventually lose your health. And I wrote that I think this is just basically the game of culling. And like something like a deck builder, you get these cards that aren't helpful in your hand, and most times you want to cull them out of the game. And this is really just culling them out of 3 different areas. The computer might send you red cubes, which is a resource, but it's a bad resource and it's just filler. It could have a purpose, or it could just simply just be nothing. Same with cards that are sent to you from the AI or the game. So I wrote ridding or trimming the excess before the excess consumes you. And then I just wrote some personal notes that I actually want to work this up. I haven't. One game that we've done since I started this 29 days ago, I went back to a day later and started tinkering, and I have some extra notes on it. Otherwise, it's just been logging, and just building up a whole bunch of ideas, and I'm starting to archive them and figure out what the best parts of each day were and things like that. But I'm going to work this one up. I'm going to try to today. Mechanically, it hits a lot of the beats that I like, and solo design is, for anyone who's designed anything solo, it's just super fulfilling to just get it on paper and start playing, where you are the only player. And often I'm the only player when I'm testing multiplayer games for the first time. So the difference when you're doing it solo is you actually can really play it. You're not faking other personalities just to see how the game works. But I also wrote that I want to keep it minimal. Cards, tableau, resources for the player, and just filler cards and filler resources for the opposition or the AI. And I said I'm going to avoid it getting too spavined of a game. So there's our word for the day, spavined, a new word to me. It might be new to you. Let me know what you think of that and how swelling can come up in your games, whether it's good, bad, or a main focus. I hear my son rumbling over there. So that'll be it for this morning. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks. Bye.